Lions are among the most dangerous animals on Earth. They're especially aggressive when protecting their cubs, defending territory, or hunting prey. So when one lion came across an abandoned baby leopard, what she did next stunned everyone watching. It didn't make sense. We all have things we care about deeply. For one man, Stotra Chakrabarty, a postdoctoral researcher, his passion was studying how animals behave. He had spent years trying to understand why animals act the way they do. Along the way, he'd seen some surprising interactions. But then one day, he witnessed something between a lion and a cub that left him speechless. Out in the wild, you just don't see rival species spending time near each other. That's why, when Stotra and other researchers saw the lion approaching the cub, they were instantly on edge. The little leopard was in danger. But then the lion did something that completely changed everything. You see, lions and leopards are not friends. They compete for the same food and the same space. They're always at odds, Stotra explained. So when the lion walked toward the cub, every expert watching thought the same thing. This was going to end badly. And what the lion did next only made them more certain. Without warning, the lion stopped walking and sank low into the grass. Was she getting ready to pounce? That's exactly what the researchers feared. Lions aren't fast over long distances. They have smaller hearts and lungs, so they depend on sneaking up on prey. They usually hide and wait, then strike when the animal is close enough or not paying attention. That seemed to be exactly what this lion was doing. For 15 minutes, she didn't move a muscle. She just lay hidden in the grass, eyes locked on the baby leopard, watching his every move. The researchers stood frozen, their eyes wide, silently hoping the cub would stay put. If he moved, he'd be walking straight toward danger. The next 5 minutes felt like forever. The entire place was completely still. No one moved, not the lion, not the cub, not even the people watching. You could hear a pin drop. Then suddenly, the silence broke. Out of nowhere, the lion rose from her hiding spot, turned toward the cub, and let out a quiet, low roar. Then, just like that, the lion crouched down and hid again. Why had she let out that roar? Was she trying to scare the cub off, or was she calling him closer? And worse, would the baby leopard fall for it? Sadly, he did. The little cub stood up and began walking right toward where the lion was hiding. When he got very close, he sat down by the edge of the grass, completely unaware the lion was just feet away. He started playing in the sand, just trying to pass time, having no idea of the danger nearby. The lion slowly lifted her head, staring straight at the leopard cub. At that point, it looked like there was no way out for him. But still, she didn't move. The experts watching wondered. Was she hesitating? Was she still figuring out what to do? Then suddenly, she stood up and charged at full speed toward the cub. The researchers froze in shock. They were just about to step in and try to save the baby when something unexpected happened. The lion stopped. She slowly walked over to the blue-eyed cub. Her movements were careful, as if she didn't want to scare him. The experts watched in silence, completely stunned. This lioness had recently given birth to 2 cubs of her own, and she was known to be a very nurturing mother. "I've seen how gentle she is with her cubs," one of the team said. So when she got to the baby leopard, something inside her seemed to shift. Her instincts kicked in. She gently nuzzled the cub's fur, and he seemed to relax, like he finally felt safe. From that day on, she treated him like one of her own. When she went hunting, she always remembered him and brought food back. But she wasn't the only one who welcomed the little cub. Her own babies accepted him, too. They played together and even followed him up trees. In one sweet moment, the leopard cub jumped playfully on the head of one of his new siblings. It was the kind of bond no one expected to see. It was honestly one of the most touching things I've ever heard of. One of those rare, unbelievable moments in nature. The bond lasted for a month. Then one day, the researchers found the little leopard's body near a watering hole. A necropsy showed he likely died from a condition he was born with, a femoral hernia. It was heartbreaking. But even though he didn't get a long life, he got to spend his time surrounded by love, warmth, and a family that accepted him. In another story, a lioness took down an antelope and then turned her attention to its calf and did something no one expected. A photographer named Audrey DeVisser, who worked at Queen Elizabeth National Park in Uganda, had always loved taking wildlife photos. He especially loved photographing lions, but usually he only managed to capture them while they were hunting or roaming with their pride. Then one day he witnessed something completely different, something that stayed with him for years. "I've been doing this for a long time, and I've taken all kinds of pictures," Audrey said. "But I always hoped I'd capture one of those rare moments that really meant something." One day at the park, he heard that 2 lions had taken down an antelope. Without wasting a second, he grabbed his camera and rushed to the scene. "I almost turned back halfway," he admitted. "I had already taken so many pictures of lions hunting," Audrey said, "so I thought, what could really be different this time? Still, I kept going, and I'm so glad I did. I would have regretted it forever if I'd turned back." When he arrived, the lionesses were nearly done eating the antelope. Not wanting to feel like the trip was wasted, Audrey went ahead and took some shots anyway. But soon he realized he hadn't come for the hunt. He was there for something else entirely. Once they finished eating, one of the lionesses wandered off, while the other lay down under the shade of a nearby tree. Audrey kept his camera focused, watching closely. Would the lioness go looking for more prey? Or just take a nap? He didn't know, but something told him to stay. Something told him this moment wasn't over yet, and his instinct was right. Just minutes later, a sound came from a patch of bushes nearby. Audrey turned toward it, and before he could guess what it was, a young antelope appeared. It had likely hidden there when its mother was attacked. "When I saw the baby antelope, I froze," Audrey recalled. "It must have thought the danger was gone. It stepped out carefully, like it was searching for something." But Audrey was wrong. It wasn't unaware. The little antelope clearly saw the lion lying in the shade, and still it walked right toward her. "I held my breath," Audrey said. "I was so scared for the little one." The lion noticed the calf too, and stood up slowly, looking like she might attack. But she didn't. She didn't move a muscle. For the next 45 minutes, the lion just watched him, silent, still. And then something unbelievable happened. The antelope, sensing no danger, walked even closer. It got so close, it crawled right between the lion's legs, like it was looking for milk. "I almost teared up," Audrey said. The lion just let it happen. Seconds passed, then the lion gently returned the little one's gesture. She reached out and softly touched him with her paw. Audrey caught every moment with his camera. Just as he hoped this touching scene would go on longer, the sound of a park ranger's motorcycle echoed in the distance. It startled both animals. And then the lion did something so unexpected, it stopped Audrey in his tracks. She gently picked the antelope up by the neck, the same way she'd carry one of her own cubs, and quietly walked off with it. "It was one of the most heartwarming things I've ever seen," Audrey said. For weeks afterward, he couldn't stop thinking about that gentle moment. A few weeks later, some tourists spotted the same antelope, still with the lioness, and they said the two looked like they truly belonged together. It was clear they had bonded. Stories like this remind us that lions aren't just fierce predators. They can also be caring, protective, and full of emotion. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's more where this came from, and you won't want to miss it.